All right, I'm going to go over some missing dimensions for spheres. So I'm going to go over, we did this in the previous video. I'm probably going to do 13 and 10, okay? So let's start here. I know we've got to zoom really far in. All right, so remember for this volume of spheres, we only have two letters to plug in for, right? So we've got V equals 4/3 pi r cubed. So I'm either given the radius and plugging it in or the volume and plugging it in. So right here, it says the volume has, so they're giving us the volume, right? 125/6 pi. So I'm going to erase the volume and plug it in for volume. So 125/6 pi, all right? And remember to celebrate when we have pi, because they cancel each other out. Remember, I'm going to eventually divide this by both sides and get rid of it. Yay. All right. I'm going to write this so it's a little neater. 125/6 equals 4/3 r cubed. All right. So now the only thing right now, the first thing that we're going to move away from this is 4/3. Okay. And since that's multiplying, the opposite is division. But we don't divide fractions. We multiply by the reciprocal. Right? And what I do to one side, I do to the other. Right? So cancel. Those cancel. They get rid of each other. So now I've got r cubed equals, so I could multiply straight across right away, or I could cross reduce. I'm going to divide by 3 and make that 1. I'm going to divide by 3 and make that 2. Okay, so now I've got 1 times 125 is 125. And 2 times 4 is 8. And that looks like a really gross number, but what we have to do next, it's actually not so bad. So I'm going to rewrite this over here so it's a little bit easier for me to do some work. 125/8, okay? So to get my r alone, remember what's the opposite of cubing? Remind you that the opposite of squaring is square root, right? So r would be 5 if we were doing this. But we're not squaring, we're cubing. So the opposite of squaring is square root, and the opposite of cubing is cubed root. So we're going to cubed root this side. And what I do to one side, I have to do to the other. Luckily, these are both perfect cubes. So the cubed root of 125 and the cubed root of 8 are both perfect. Okay, so this cancels out, and I'm left with r. The cubed root of 125 is 5, and the cubed root of 8 is 2, right? So now for a radius, 5/2 is kind of a strange number. It'd be kind of a better answer as a mixed number. So we're going to go ahead and divide that. 5 divided by 2. 2 goes into 5 twice, and 2 times 5 is 4. Subtract and get 1. So my radius is 2.5 inches, right? So my radius is 2.5 inches. And remember, it's not cubed because we didn't find volume. We found radius, and that's a one dimension. Right? Now let's look at number 10. Number 10's a little tricky. The numbers get a little funky. So we're going to practice taking cubed roots in our calculators really quick. So in your calculator, you won't always get this, but sometimes you will. So the cubed root, if you look right here at that button, you'll see a little x with a root, okay? And that means that x, you get to choose what the x is, okay? So you have to press what the x is first, and to get to this key right there, because it's not on an actual button, you have to press second first, okay? So we're going to press 3, and we're going to practice the cubed root of 125, since we know that that should be 5, okay? So let's see, the cubed root of 125. You have to press 3 first, okay? So 3. Then you're going to press the second button. It says second right there. It's a different color than all the other ones, right? And whoops, it shouldn't do anything for you. Like, you're not going to notice it does. Oh, there it is right there. It says second, okay? And then you're going to press this caret button right there. And this is what your calculator should look like. Okay. If not, do it again. Okay. 3 second caret. Okay. And then press 125. and you should get 5. All right? All right. So that's what we're going to have to do for number 10, because it's going to give you a really weird number. All right? So let's go. We've got the volume this time. So we don't need to write V. We're going to write 4.5 pi equals, and then the rest of the formula. 4/3 pi r cubed. Make sure that's cubed and not squared. All right. Yay, we have pi. We get to cancel it. I like to rewrite. I think it looks a lot neater, and it's a lot easier to tell what to do. There we go. So I'm going to move this 4/3 away from r cubed, and since that's multiplying, we don't divide, because we don't divide fractions. We multiply by the reciprocal. And what I do to one side, I do to the other. Please make sure you have that written on both sides. Okay? Cancels. And on this side, I'm just going to multiply straight across, just like what we've been doing. So I've got 4.5 times 3. 4.5 times 3. So in my numerator, when I multiply that, it's 13.5. Okay. And then on my denominator, I don't need my calculator. 1 times 4 is just 4, equals r cubed. Right? So I'm going to simplify this. It's already in my calculator, right? I'm just going to divide that by 4. This reads 13.5 divided by 4. So divide by 4. And there we go. I've got 3.375 equals r cubed, all right? It looks gross, but we've got our calculator to help us, okay? So remember, how do we get, what's the opposite of cubing a number? Cubed root. So I'm going to cube root both sides. So let's practice that again. Remember, 3, second, and caret. So 3, second, and that caret. And that's what your calculator should look like. And then we're going to put this, the cubed root of 3.375. 3.375. And look at that. It's just 1.5. So my radius is just 1.5. All right? And that dimension is just centimeters. It is not cubed because it's not a radius, right? Let's see. I want to do another example. So your homework is here. It's on Big Ideas Math, so you should finish that. I kind of started number 9. I can walk through that really quick since it's already done. So we plugged in 972 pi here for volume. Canceled out those pi's right away. That left us here. We multiply by the reciprocal, 3/4, right? And what you do to one side, you do to the other. Okay. You can multiply straight across. You could have crossed reduced, probably. And then you end up getting, when you multiply 972 times 3, and then divide by 4, you get 729. That happens to be a perfect cube. And so I'm going to have you practice that. I think this is one of your homework problems. So you can practice putting that in your calculator to get the radius. All right?